What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin It podcast. Andre, how you doing, man?
I am I'm doing better. I was gonna make a joke, but I just decided to stop before it went too far. I was just like, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Good, good, because we already told you before we went on air. If you cough one time, you're getting dropped. So, so,
Like
Sandstorm,
look,
how you
one
doing?
digital cough.
Yeah, one digital cough and you out of here. Sandstorm, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. We've had an interesting week. This week has been very, very interesting. I can't wait to talk about what we finna go in on. So
Okay, so we got to talk about the elephant in the room. So the first topic up for today is Square Enix. What the hell? So NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and they're coming to gaming whether you want them to or not at this point. I don't know any other way to explain it to anybody. And I think I want to come at it from this angle. We've been saying for years, ever since the HD generation started, these gaming budgets have gone out of control. We should not be paying $60 for no game. We really should be paying more between the lines of, I say between $70 and $90 for most of these. For most of the AAA titles, we should be paying between $70 and $90.
right.
To be fair, to be completely honest. And ever since the way a lot of companies combated this was microtransactions and DLC. That's why you kept seeing all these DLC before you got a launch trailer. You got a DLC trailer. Remember those days?
Yeah,
That was
made
crazy.
no sense. Made no sense. Why is that just not in the game?
Yeah,
Or even multiple versions of a game.
Yeah,
with the standard,
deluxe.
the deluxe, and then the full edition.
Yeah, the full edition, and let's not forget now the digital deluxe.
Oh,
as well. That's a whole different one too. So, look, I get it. I completely understand why people are upset. At the same time, though, we got to look at it from a standpoint of once, I know I've said this. I know Miss K has said this. This ain't cheap. Gaming is not cheap, and we have been getting by off them not charging what they need to be charging for some of these games. And some people complain about paying $30 for games. Some people complain about paying $60 for some games because they can't get out of a certain room. But that being said, I'm just saying, I understand why people are upset, but just like the microtransactions, I don't think this is going away anytime soon because you got to find a way to recoup their money, especially if they're just going to be paying. If people are just going to be paying $60 forever,
right?
At this point.
You know what's funny is you lucky the situation is in the situation that it is now, because if they really wanted to be greedy, and granted, some of them have kind of moved to this point. Every one of these companies could be like, you know what? We ain't doing no physicals anymore. As a matter of fact, we're starting our own we're gonna have our own little services. You're gonna have to get on. You're gonna have to get on Capcom Live. You're gonna have to get on Square Enix Live. You wanna play our games? It's gonna be a service like Game Pass. Like, you have this much time to play this, and then it's gonna be off the service, and you're gonna have to pay a monthly or a yearly subscription to be able to play these games. They could really do that. Really do that. I mean, would we be happy?
Hell no.
But I mean, they could really do that and be greedy. But I mean, it could be worse. It's not good, but it definitely could be worse. And I feel like most of them, for the most part, is throwing us a bone with the whole $60 having to pay for the games that we're paying for now. I mean, they're trying to bump it up to 70. So,
and people complain about that, but they still want Halo the way it's developed now. They still want it when you should probably be paying about $80 or $90 for that game. They still want it.
Yeah.
Like that, and I'm like, I don't
single player, not even the multiplayer included.
I mean, I don't know what you want them to do at this point to try to get their money, because once again, it's a business, it's not a charity.
See, bad thing is, a couple years ago, I said the exact same thing, that they just need to charge more for the games. We need we don't need a standardized price system for video games. The companies that put more money into the development of their game should charge more for their game. Instead of having multiple editions, just set the one price so you're using less resources. People pay that one price and get your product. That's how it used to be.
That's how it should be. I mean,
that's how it should be.
If you want to buy, like Square, we're gonna use Square Enix because they're the ones that just pissed everybody off.
Screw you, Square.
Yeah, but like here's the thing with Square Enix. Square Enix makes these beautiful, majestic games that don't sell, but they
are hemorrhaging. They hemorrhage money on that.
But that's the problem. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but for real, they are making these beautifully majestic games, and people aren't going out and buying them, so they're not making their money back. And so so now you want to buy, like, for instance, Final Fantasy VII Remake. They had 3 different versions of that game. One of them had a toy with the full Fenrir and Cloud and all this other stuff. I'm like, so you had to spend money to make the toy, you're still hemorrhaging money. Final Fantasy 15, you made Kingsglaive movie, you made an anime OVA, you made, not to mention the game is expensive, the anime ain't cheap because the way they did it, and you're doing the OVA. Dude, just make the game. If you want to make a movie, make a movie.
Hey, here's a hint for Square. Work on your Nintendo projects and drop everything else for a minute, and then you'll make some money.
I mean, because and I'm glad you said that, because if you look at the HD 2D stuff, you know it's not killing them financially to make that. So
and on top of that, it's not a new concept.
It's selling.
Honestly, it's not even a new concept, because all it is 2D, 3D, just in higher definition.
In high definition, yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm like, y'all got something that works. And if y'all gotta make Final Fantasy, you gotta use that Luminous engine or whatever, then just make one game and just charge people $100 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They're gonna buy it regardless.
Mad about it.
No, they're gonna buy it, because here's the thing. A lot of people bought that edition with that Final Fantasy VII Remake edition with the cloud thing, because that thing sold out within 24 hours. So they'll buy it. That's how you know they'll buy it. I mean, that's how you know people will buy it. They'll be mad, but it's just like Pokédex. Remember that?
Yep.
Right.
We gotta boycott Pokemon. We gotta boycott them because they won't release the National Pokédex.
Best selling one.
I rest my case. To be honest, that's why I'm like, okay, I understand why people are mad about NFTs. I really do. I understand, because one, that whole situation, when you start looking at the whole NFTs and all that stuff, I don't trust it.
Nah.
Just off the little research I've done, I don't trust it. And them putting it in gaming, I understand why businesses are doing it, because you got to do something to try to recoup your money.
Honestly, though, the big problem with NFTs and gaming specifically is it's just redundant. It's literally a secondary form of DRM when we already have DRM and everybody's games are digitally locked to their accounts already.
Right.
So you're going to give an extra step that I have to take that's more money, more expensive, and it doesn't add any actual benefits, just more expensive.
Yep.
I can understand why people are ticked off, but again, this is why I said it before when everybody was making the comparisons to God of War and Metroid Dread for pricing. If you had a deregulated, de-standardized pricing system for gaming, guess what? Metroid Dread might have been $45. And then God of War probably would have been like $80.
Yep. Like it's supposed to have been.
I mean, Metroid Dread might have still been a higher quality game as far as gameplay is concerned, but I don't want to make DJ too mad.
Not according to David Jaffe.
I don't want to make DJ too mad.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah, but I'm just I understand why people are upset. I'm just like, I don't think people are looking at it from a business standpoint either. Just because like people are quick to forget. Like if you want these AAA movie budgeted games, you should be paying more.
Yep, should be.
You should
gaming does not do as well as movies do on a per purchase basis. That's why movies can get away with it because they get more purchases.
Yeah,
gaming does not.
There's a reason
they get double purchases anyway because you know they get the purchase from actually being in the theaters, and then I mean it's not as big as it was, you know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, but they still get the money coming from actually buying or the service that it ends up landing on. So
So because I've told people all the time, I'm like, look, man, whether you paying $20 for a ticket or you know you paying because you going to IMAX, you're paying $25. It's still cheaper. It's still cheaper for a movie ticket than it is for buying a game. There's no reason why any game should be of $250 million to make. There's no excuse for that. They should never be like that because you're not gonna make that money back like that. That's why you see all these games going on sale so early because they don't have a choice.
Right.
They don't have a choice, and it's not like
it's better to get something than nothing.
Yeah. So I'm like, you went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home 3 times. You could afford to do that. You ain't gonna buy. A normal person is not going to buy Call of Duty 3-4 times.
Nah.
They're not.
Unless that's literally the only game they play.
Yeah,
no, they're not doing that.
They're not doing that. So I mean, now you might do it if it re-releases like 4 years from now on something else. You might do it, but you're not not within a month. You're not going to buy it 3 times.
Now there is the one argument for crossplay. If they're doing crossplay, you might get it on 2 different platforms, but I think that's the max most people might do.
Yeah, that's the max. And even then, you're not doing. Most people aren't doing that within weeks of each other. They're not doing that.
No. Like they're like, okay, I'm gonna get it where I'm gonna play it first on my main console, and then I'm gonna get the other one for just in case I had somebody over or something.
Yeah, like because I can see people doing that when like for instance like something like Destiny, like you might get it on Xbox, but then when your friends get like PlayStation and you're like, okay, y'all want to play it there, like 6 months later you'll get it then. You're not getting it. You're not doing it like you go into a movie where you may go see that film opening night and then you go back with your friends Sunday. You know, that's different. That's why Spider-Man No Way Home is going to make $1 billion. Call of Duty's not going to make $1 billion in a month.
Nah.
It's not going to do that. So
like FL said, that's why Destiny and GTA. That's why you got so many GTAs on these systems.
I'm waiting for
GTA 5 been everywhere.
I'm waiting for GTA 5 to come to the cloud version to come to Switch. That's when I'm gonna be like, y'all wrong for this.
That's where it gets to be.
You know,
I mean, it's already too much.
And if Rockstar does, I'm gonna cuss them out just like I did Square, because ain't no excuse to put it on the Switch on no cloud version when you got it on Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yep. There ain't no reason to do that. So I'm waiting for that inevitable day because they gonna Rockstar is well, they pimping right now, boy. They pimping hard.
Look, everybody wondering why GTA 6 ain't happened. Guess what? These budgets just blew up. That's why GTA 6 hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and it's probably not gonna happen for a while.
It's weird.
Not until they decide to finally put it on the Switch.
I feel like
I'll sell it to you for the 8th time.
Square Enix has got their I won't say AAA, but like their A-class games, and then like way down here is like their C-class games, and their A-class games. Whenever they drop those, it's only like Final Fantasy number whatever. Kingdom Hearts was kind of in there, but like I feel like that's kind of falling off.
That fell off.
Yeah, it took too long.
So it's really like now they just either they have to do something new, but like every time they throw something out there, it's just if it's not like the 2D, like you said, like it's not really selling like that, and like that's what their problem is they like, oh, we got this new big idea. Let's just make it so grandiose and hope for all the money to come in, and everybody's like, I ain't buying that.
But another problem that Square Enix has that is also turning people off of stuff is that they name damn near everything Final Fantasy when it don't have to be.
No, it doesn't.
How did
their
honest
mobile
trailer
game
guy say it? How did the honest trailer guy say it? The company doesn't know the meaning of the word final.
Yeah, like their mobile game. Their mobile game, Final Fantasy Brave Xevious. It could have been Brave Xevious. No Final Fantasy needed. Or what's the one that's supposed to be the action game that's going to be just like freaking Devil May Cry, basically, and it's still Final Fantasy. I'm like, why? It doesn't even look like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, y'all just don't know how to name something differently unless you put it on Nintendo and then it sells well, but then you ignore it.
That's how they think it's gonna sell. Hi, Vicky. Hi. No.
Hi, Vicky.
See, you could have ignored. You could have disengaged and ignored, but you chose not to.
Hot combed it out. That's why it looks like that. I didn't blow dry. Just hot comb. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, number one troll, as always.
Yeah, as always, yeah. And Trinell, you are actually right. Bravely Default is just getting better and better.
Just quietly, it's becoming what Final Fantasy used to be.
Yeah. And I hope it stays that way. Like, yeah, that's jeez, dude. But yeah, the whole Square Enix thing is hilarious. Oh, and we forgot to talk about Avengers because that's another one where they should have just kept it simple.
Yep.
I think they thought it was going to like do numbers like crazy because the name Marvel was in it. Like, yeah, they were like, why not? We can just do whatever we want. It's gonna sell like crazy.
And they had a 96% drop off within a month. Meanwhile, Koei Tecmo Team Ninja was like, yeah, we'll just sit over here and sell a cool 1.5 million on Switch with this Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's clearly the better game.
Right.
Look better.
I think they did a better job marketing that too. Like, I don't know. I remember when that game first came out, when they were first showing off Squares, and like it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. and the voice it wasn't even the guys from the it wasn't even the guys from the animated stuff. Like, it would have came out better if they would have got the team that does the voice acting for like Earth's Mightiest Heroes or Symbol or one of those, but they didn't even do that.
Yep.
It was weird, man. Yeah. Like, you just can't, especially in the midst of all those movies too. Like, you just can't throw out a weird person's voice. Like, it just didn't connect. I think right at that point I was like, yeah, this is not going to be what everybody thinks.
That initial showing at E3 where they made everybody wait during their presentation to the last 10 minutes and they knew what everybody wanted to see. Meanwhile, Nintendo was like, oh, so that's what they did? Hey, move Ultimate Alliance to Monday.
We're gonna make it the first day we show.
Yeah, it's the first day we show.
Like, which was the insult, because that was the last thing Square showed, and that was the last video of the day.
And like when they showed off,
I'm sitting there like, did Nintendo just put the first Treehouse game as Marvel Ultimate Alliance and did it in 2 parts and we're pretty much laughing the whole time? Like, y'all wrong for that. Y'all are so wrong for that.
There's plenty to do in our game. What's there to do in yours? Because it looked kind of dry.
And the first thing they showed was Deadpool. I'm like, wow, Nintendo, y'all just wrong for that. Y'all just wrong for that. They showed the whole X-Men part with Deadpool cracking all the jokes. I'm like,
now,
nobody's buying that Avengers game.
Now, if Nintendo could have swung it, and they could have got Ryan Reynolds to be the person playing the game,
that would have been so funny.
It would have been over.
That would have been so fun. Or had Nolan North, because I think Nolan North came back to do the voice for him in the game. If they would have had Nolan North come out and do it, because he does most of the animated voice when they have Deadpool animated, it's usually him. I'm like, that would have been hilarious if they would have both. If they would have had him or Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, get both of them because they know each other. They know each other. I'm like, that would be hilarious. Which I'm pretty much expecting him to show up in Deadpool 3 now.
It was like you have Deadpool and then the voice inside his head.
Yeah, it'd be Nolan North. That would be hilarious if they did that. So, all right, let's move on. Square Enix is pretty much bringing me down. So, E3 is going digital this year. Again, which understandable. We got the Omicron. I'm glad they didn't name it Unicron.
I was just gonna say that. Every time somebody says that, I'm like, we about to transform. Somebody
well, it's either going to be called Unicron or Omarion because people making fun of Omarion.
Once they started naming these variants after Transformers Generation 1 characters, we screwed. So we're just screwed. But they're
next
going
one will be
digital.
Megatron.
Yeah,
right.
It'll be the Starscream variant. The Starscream variant gonna betray all of us. We're gonna think we're getting healthy, and they're gonna betray us. So yeah, but so they had to go back and do digital this year, which I don't mind. I don't mind, but so I think we talked a little bit about this last week off air. Mm-hmm. What they need to do is have a actual plan of how to do this and stick to it, and don't give IGN nothing. If you Ubisoft,
don't give them nothing so they don't accidentally show something they ain't gonna be shown.
Yeah.
If y'all need to give out a code for them to be able to record your showing, do that maybe in the last 3 minutes. We're about to go on in 3 minutes. Here you go. Here, now you can. Well,
record. My thing is, don't even give it to them. Like, you can't talk about this till after we do our presentation.
Yep.
If Ubisoft has a presentation, IGN and Game Rant and all these other places, you can't show our stuff till after the presentation's over with.
Uh-huh.
Because that stuff with Beyond Good and Evil last year should have never happened.
Nope.
Should have never happened, and I don't understand why. I'm like, Ubisoft, you knew what time you were going. Why in the world did you give it to IGN anyway? Because they have to do. They're trying to fill in gaps, trying to fill in spaces. So I understand what they were doing, but at the same time, I'm like, you shouldn't have gave them your stuff if you know you wanted to be the one to, show it. So if you wanted to show Beyond Good and Evil, that was your surprise that you want to show people. Why in the world did you let IGN see it? They should have never got it. Give them Rainbow Six. Give them Rainbow Six, something they already know about.
Yep.
Don't give them that.
I think too that when they gave them that stuff, they should have just been like, they should have been like, if you're gonna talk about this, like, no gameplay footage, none. Not just even like our old stuff. Just talk about it, If you want to, because they can do that. Then they can sum up or talk about what possibly we see or don't see or something like that. Even if they've seen the footage, at least we didn't see the footage. You know what I mean? Before their time to actually show it off. I think that's something that they really need to handle this time around. If you still feel like because IGN is a bigger site that you're gonna show them or give them that stuff, you need to put down some licensed agreements right then and there.
Ground rules.
Yep.
This is what you can show off. This is what you cannot show off. Anything, even if it's a new trailer, you know what I mean? But it still has some of that old stuff in there. I'd be like, yeah, maybe not show off the old trailer either, because some of that stuff is in there, and some people may have seen it, or some people might have forgot. But we don't want any of that being taken as we didn't really have much to show. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that's not just IGN, because we know if somebody else gets it, they can possibly do that.
Yeah. That's any of those. That's any of those sites. IGN is the one that comes to mind because they were it was bad last year when that happened, because they wound up having to a whole hour of walking in Assassin's Creed, and I forgot what other game they did where they were just walking, and Ubisoft and you can tell Ubisoft had to switch their whole presentation around, which made the presentation feel off. And I'm like, dude, y'all should have just never showed that. But the problem with E3 that I found last year was they didn't have a set. It wasn't organized at all.
Nope.
It needed to be organized. If you're gonna go digital, you have to have your ducks in a row and okay, look, this is when people are going. If we need to fill in times between, because the other thing too was why they have the time so spaced out. It shouldn't have been so spaced out. All right, look, this is our block of time. Yeah, this is our block of time. If we're doing from 12 to 4, this is our block of time. So we got to have stuff continuously from 12 to 4. If you're not going to be in there from 12 to 4, then you need to let us know 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, no later than 2 weeks before E3, so we can shift some stuff around. And Sony, you're gonna have to show up. You don't have a choice this year.
No, you don't.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you can't show up. What is this? This will be the third time.
The third time. Yeah, you're gonna have to show up this year because you didn't do anything last year. And if I'm not mistaken, they didn't even have a PlayStation event like they normally do in November. So you need to do something.
Nothing at all.
You gonna have to do something.
You know,
just the last couple of years just shows that they were not ready for PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
Something that I think that they should do, and I just thought about it now, because the reason why we feel like Nintendo has really been on top for a while is for the fact that all of that stuff that they do is more or less pre-recorded. So I feel like if you're gonna have a digital E3, maybe you guys should probably, I don't know, do some recordings and stuff like that before E3 comes around. Have your actors in place, whoever you're gonna have, do it like you're gonna do a movie or a show or something like that, a couple different takes. And if there's stuff that's involving like certain games or whatever situation you're talking about, like, and you're gonna give those out to GameStop or IGN or whoever, like, make sure you have multiple different takes of that. So just in case something happens, like, you have a backup to be able to chop that part off and move that. Because I feel like that was Ubisoft's biggest problem, and that's why it took so long, is that whole extraction part was way too long.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if either A, both Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil were going to get shown before extraction, or B, that was going to be the last stuff that they showed, and Ubisoft had to stretch that time out because they had a certain amount of time that they had to go for, and that just got blown out. So I'm thinking, like, and two, that almost looks more professional. You know what I mean? Like, Microsoft has, I'm sorry to say, like, they've killed it on doing live presentations. Like, they know how to present a live presentation the right way. And Sony, I still feel like, is trying to figure that out. But like with everybody else, that should just be a pre-recording, because you're not necessarily one of the big three. Like, just for you to go like boom, boom, boom with your games, and you want to throw in some laughs or some funny moments, like, it can be more natural on pre-recording than it could you trying to do it live, you know?
Plus, it does help that Microsoft has their own theater. they can do all
their people.
Yeah, and they can do that. They can do that. That stuff is like done separate from the actual E3 stuff anyway. So they have their own theater where they done mastered it. But like you said, they mastered the live presentation. Nintendo mastered the digital one. So and I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, you already did try to cheat off their homework anyway. Just do what Nintendo does with these digital directs. But Sony's doing it now. After years of saying it wasn't going to work, after years of everybody saying that was stupid and it don't work, everybody be looking forward to it.
Right.
And then we come to find out that was something Nintendo had presented to them back in the late 90s to do.
Yeah. And they didn't
and
want to do
it. And they kept that idea, ran with it.
Yeah. And now they ran with it, and now they've mastered it. So whenever they go to E3 or they go to Tokyo Game Show or something, they already have their stuff already ready to go.
It's already there. Yeah. It's already there.
It's like the only thing they have to do is the Treehouse Lives, and the Treehouse Lives, they just roll off naturally because hey, we got the person playing the game, we got the developer, and we got the interviewer.
Yep.
That's how we run this.
And all the interviewers are asking all the questions that people want to know the answers to, which is something that everybody seems to not be able to do.
And you got the person playing the game that's doing the gameplay, so you seeing gameplay in real time.
Yep.
I mean, look, I fully expect Bayonetta 3, if it doesn't release in like the spring or something like that, to have a full-on Treehouse Live three-parter to it. Mm-hmm. I fully expect it. And it's probably gonna have somebody in the office playing, and they're gonna do it. I'm expecting that. I'm expecting one from Breath of the Wild. I'm expecting Breath of the Wild to get their own.
It's gonna get a full direct.
And that's gonna get
that's gonna get a full direct. Yeah, Kurt. I'm expecting Splatoon. If Splatoon doesn't release before E3, I'm expecting them to have their own Treehouse Live and probably their own direct as well.
Get one too.
Yeah, they let me ask y'all a question, because they used to do a lot of like game focused directs. You think they're going to go back to doing that?
Yeah, I think they will.
Because they haven't done it the last few years.
I think the last couple of years everything got thrown off.
Yeah,
we haven't really. Well, no, that's not necessarily true, because what's Animal Crossing? They got
Animal Crossing got
that's but that was Animal Crossing, and I think one other game that really got like a concentrated direct that hasn't happened.
And I don't count the Sakurai trolling everybody by being better at smashing anybody ever alive. I don't count those. Yeah, I don't.
Man playing the game with one hand, playing with his feet, like
the man playing with 4 different controllers with 2 hands.
Like, bro,
I don't count that.
Nah.
I don't count that because he's basically showing everybody that we suck. So
counting in binary, flipping people off.
Yeah, people off in binary. That was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, Pokemon kind of gets those presentations too. Focused presentations. So I mean, I guess it depends.
I'm surprised we haven't got one for Arceus yet.
Oh yeah, we about to get one.
This week. Yeah, I feel like it's coming this week.
That's going to be either this coming week or next week. It ain't that far off.
Yeah.
Nah. Because they just gave us like a little 13-minute like
the overview trailer.
Yeah. I feel like because there's still too many questions about that game.
That's true.
Not hidden secrets, but like actual legitimate questions. So I feel like that's gonna come.
Trinell, we all remember right along with Pepper's Farm how Nintendo stole the show with just Breath of the Wild.
And people complain because Bayonetta wasn't there. After the year before saying all you got to do is show me Breath of the Wild, show me Zelda, and I'll be content. Yeah,
that was still one of the most popular E3s for Nintendo either way.
I know. I know. And that's why I think once again it goes back to what we always said. Gamers don't know what they want.
No, they don't.
They don't know what they want because they say all this stuff, and then when they give it to them, they suddenly don't remember. Remember when they didn't want Virtual Console? They wanted a subscription service.
Yep.
Now they mad.
Now they mad at the subscription service.
They destroyed them. That was an easy E3 for them.
Remember when nobody wanted to play backward compatible games? We wanted new games.
Oh my gosh. Who cares about backwards compatibility? I already played those games.
Yep. Now everybody mad when you don't got it.
We can keep going. Y'all do everybody, y'all know we can keep this going, right? But I mean, it's one of those crazy things that oh boy. Gaming is so fun and so crazy at the same time.
One more for the road.
All right.
Remember when the Wii U emulator was good and the Switch one came out and it was bad?
Oh my
Even though it's the exact same emulator.
Oh man, yep. Remember that one? Oh boy, remember that
one? Same emulator, but it's suddenly good on the Wii U.
Wow. Okay. All right. Oh man, that was a good one. Okay, so all right, so let's see. just know that I think virtual events are here to stay for a while. Unless the current global situation, people start acting like they got some common sense and stop arguing with each other and just like do what people ask them to do. We're probably gonna be stuck for a while.
I think you said this probably. It might have been after our last week's stream, but I feel like there still needs to be some sort of something to, like, I don't want necessarily E3 to die, but like there needs to be something that kind of holds everything still together as an event, because that's a special time for gamers, really, and developers too. But that's really a special time for all of them. And if everybody goes digital just to do their own thing, and like it's not really part of the whole E3 thing, like that kind of takes away from the enjoyment as a whole, you know.
Well, there is a thought I had before. I mean, especially if we're going to stay digital for a little while, that they could do live broadcasting of people playing and testing their games. Like they pay people to do beta testing and they distribute to people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So why not take a short snippet of your game and demo it out and then give people the option to be a part of like a massive live stream of people streaming and playing the games together.
You know, they could do it. To go along with that, I mean, it's COVID time, so I know you can't do it as well. But you remember back in, I think it was 14 or 13. Remember when Nintendo had the like E3 events?
Oh yeah, that was 13 because that was Smash and stuff.
Yeah, you
Smash Mario Kart.
You can go out and play the games or whatever. Like I feel like they can do that for E3 too, and then just have some sort of recording guy there, just recording different people playing the game. You know,
they could.
Yeah.
And where you wrong?
Oh, man, that's funny. That is funny. That is so funny. That's funny. That's funny. But I don't think any of the gaming events are going anywhere. I don't think Paris Game Show is going anywhere. I don't think Tokyo Game Show is going anywhere. I don't think E3 is going anywhere. I just think that they gotta attack it a different way. And when everybody was mad at Nintendo for not having a presentation, when they stopped doing it, they came up with a way that works and actually is a blueprint for everybody else, especially now when you're in the middle of a pandemic, of how to have a successful presentation without people there. I mean, look, I don't mind the live presentations, but a lot of the years when you don't have nothing to show, those presentations are boring.
Oh, they are extremely boring. And
then we get to hear how many times.
Then we get to hear how many times the share button was pressed.
Yes, right. That man, I will never give Sean Layden for that. I will never give Sean Layden for that.
I'm like, okay, like how many times was square and triangle pressed? How many times was the X button pressed? Who gives
that presentation was an hour and 30 minutes and 50 minutes was him trying to rev the crowd up about share presses. Bruh, y'all ain't have nothing to show. So your presentation should have just been what you had. That's another reason why I like how Nintendo does it. Like, dude, those digital directs are between 35 and 45 minutes.
Game after game.
Yeah, they get to the point. They just get to the point. Like, and Microsoft does that too. Like, they may have a couple people come out and talk, but for the most part, Phil Spencer, whether you love him or hate him, they get straight to the point. Game. Now the games may not come out.
Oh, scale bound.
Hey, look, man. Look, He gonna show you something. He gonna show you something. Like, they may not know what the game is every while, but they gonna show you something.
And this because Phil himself actually likes playing video games, and you get that like from the Sony people. Don't seem like they actually like to play the games.
Well, they got one dude that loves to play games. They just won't have him on screen no more ever since he embarrassed your boys at IGN.
Are you fanboys?
Oh boy, that's gonna be a moment that lives in infamy, man. That's gonna be a moment that lives in infamy.
Then they follow up by having an hour and a half long podcast to explain how they're not fanboys.
Oh boy.
Really didn't read the room properly on that one. They could have let that statement die in the wind.
Yep, but they had to make it work. They had to make it work.
Let me tell you the ways I'm not a fanboy while explaining to you all the ways I am actually a fan.
Because everything they said just reiterated Yoshida's point. Everything they said.
Oh man,
that was beautiful. But hey man, look, it is what it is. So going on to Phil Spencer, since we're talking about him, there was an article over on PureXbox.com where he was talking about the industry should implement cross-platform bans since a lot of these games are going cross-platform now. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on it before I said my piece. So, all right, Andre, you first.
I fully 100% agree, because with crossplay coming into the forefront and a lot of games being available on multiple platforms, if not all platforms, banning somebody across all platforms on a particular game. Now, I'm not saying ban them on everything on the platform, but on particular games, if you do something that is so egregious and you know it's egregious, yes, you should be banned across all platforms from online play for that particular game. And because people will go ahead and, okay, I got banned on Xbox, so I'll just go ahead and pick it up on the PlayStation and still jump in with my same group of friends, or I'll pick it up on PC and jump in with the same people and cause more trouble. No, go ahead, make it worth it, and give these people heavy consequences for the crap that they do that they think they're gonna get away with. Ban everybody to act a fool. Go ahead.
All right, Sandstorm.
Yeah, I agree. And my question, because he kind of threw out, he said something to the point where it's not that easy to be able to get all the developers to kind of rally up and do this. My question is, because I agree completely, I agree with Andre. Is it really that hard to be able to actually do that if your account is attached to something specifically, like your email or something like that?
Well, because typically most accounts are to something that, because you have to do it and it has to be verified before you can even.
That's what I thought.
Verify, like you can't verify your Game Pass account. You can't verify that stuff if it's not a legit email. So, but you're gonna have something that's gonna be legit, that they can get you on.
But the thing is, though, most of the game companies now have their own account system that you have to connect yourself to. So if they ban you on Xbox, you still have to log into their account on the PlayStation in order to use it. Like Ubisoft, you have to log into their service in order to play the game. So if you're banned on Xbox with Ubisoft, you should be banned on PlayStation and PC.
That's what I thought. So like it doesn't necessarily have to be from a console level. So if I switch consoles or whatever, it can very well easily just be through Ubisoft or EA
or EA or anything else. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I agree with you guys, but the thing that he was saying about the developers, some of these developers, I hate to be that guy, that's their fan base. To be honest, that's their fan base. So, and I don't, because there've been, you can just go on Twitter or Facebook, you will see it, where there've been people who have, straight up showed clips of them being straight up harassed by people in game, and you're like, dude, what the hell? Like, you wouldn't say that to that person if you were out in the street, you saw them face to face. So why are you talking like that now? And the company don't do nothing to them. And I'm like, dude, you have to. But the thing is, I understand where Phil's coming from, because if you do that, guess what? You just killed half your base right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, get rid of them, because I don't want them to be in the gaming community anyway.
Right. Rules are rules, man.
Here's the thing. You can either remove the person that is intentionally doing harm, which will end up leading more people to leaving themselves, or you, like I said, you can get rid of that person, and other people will be feeling more invited into things. Gaming is a communal type thing. You want to be invited into it. You don't want to be separated from it. And bad behavior needs to be punished. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Or even that. Was it Call of Duty? I can't remember another game. Maybe it was Call of Duty. Like for like the cheaters, they had like a whole.
Oh separate, yeah. I think it was Call of Duty.
Send them whack people over there. Go over there and play.
Have a band server.
Like, yes, and see how far that gets you. Because if you doing that and everybody's doing it, I'm sorry. Like, eventually you're gonna jump out. Like I've lost interest in doing all the stupidity that I've done because everybody is acting stupid.
Well, that actually is a good point. Instead of even just completely removing them, have a specified server for people that cheat, harass, or just are bad faith players in general. Have a banned server for them. There are games with PC that still do it.
They'll stop playing immediately, because then they'll get mad and say
immediately, man.
They'll be like, everybody cheating, I can't play.
Or they'll at least stop playing until their ban is lifted.
Yep.
Right. I mean, that's either, but then if they start acting up, like it goes straight over into that. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, because that's why I understand why people create communities where they just keep certain people out, and like because I actually follow Black Girl Gamers on Twitter and on Twitch, and I understand why they do what they do. I completely understand, because I see it every time I interact with them. Like, I'd be interacting with a few of them, we'd be having a good conversation. Somebody come in and try to interject their point that makes absolutely no damn sense, other than the fact that they want special. I say it like that, and you know, we get to a point where we ignore them. But I'm like, I understand why they do that, because if I'm playing, I don't want to deal with that. Like, gaming for me is my stress relief.
Right.
I'm not trying to game with somebody that has an inferiority complex and are hella racist, or both. I'm not trying to deal with that. Like, dude, I'm playing because I need to de-stress after my day, and I'm just trying to have a good time, joking around, playing. Andre, you have played games with me before online. Am I ever serious? See, that ought to answer your question. That ought to answer your question.
That's like asking if SpongeBob is yellow.
So yeah, that's why I don't play with randoms. Like, I really don't play with randoms. Like, if I do wind up having to play with a random, I'm not talking to them, because they're not invited to my Discord server, and everybody that I'm talking to is on my Discord server. So they ain't hearing me, and I'm not hearing them. If I do have to play with a random, but most times I'm trying to play with my friends. I'm not trying to play with random people, because one, I don't know them like that, and two, you say something out the frame, I'm the type of person to come find out where you live.
Friendly fire every time.
Yeah, friendly fire. Oh, I just lobbed a grenade over there and back for blood. I'm sorry. My mistake. You was too close.
The biggest problem. The biggest problem, though, when it comes down to interacting with randoms online and playing games, is because people get big for themselves, being that the other person isn't there. See, the art of actual trash talk has been lost because people don't know how to not make it personal. Now, you can do something like, there's one thing I heard a girl say on a TikTok, which was horrible, but it's funny because it's within context. Like, people would say they banged your mother. And she said, "Let me go. I'm going to bang your dad and give him a child that he actually loves." I was like, "Ooh,
damn!" cold-blooded, boy. That's cold-blooded right there.
That's the type of trash talk that I'm familiar with because it's funny, because you can tell it's over-exaggerated. It's not meant to actually cause a personal attack or pain and feelings.
Right.
Or like how we would talk about how somebody plays, man, you trash. I'm gonna stomp you out. I'm gonna make sure that you ain't like, I'm gonna make sure that you don't want to pick up the sticks again. But people don't know how to do that anymore. It's, oh, well, I know that you're black, so I'm gonna say something racist. Oh, I know that you're Asian, so I'm gonna make jokes about Chinese food. It's stupid that people do that, and they do it on a regular basis.
I think the great athletic thespian Mike Tyson said it best. Social media made everybody comfortable with not getting punched in the mouth. I mean, like, because we all grew up in the arcade era, right? Yeah. So you go to an arcade. Tell me, if some of these people say something in the arcade like that, they'll get drug outside.
Oh no, like you might not even get off the. You might be in the middle of the game performing your move and let something slip, and you are knocked down on the floor. And that's it.
Yeah, and somebody else just took your quarters.
Yep, they straight up like, oh no. Or if they're nice, they'll take your quarters off the machine and drop them on
you. Yeah, I've been in the arcade and saw somebody get straight up stole, and dude took his quarters and played off his quarters in front of him and dared him to do something. because he was running his mouth and he said the wrong thing. Like, bro. But once again, especially in America, the arcade scene is dead over here. But you couldn't do that in the arcade. Like, some of these people have been way too comfortable with hiding behind the avatar.
Yeah,
way too comfortable.
The real arcades, not the guys.
Yeah, I'm talking about that stuff where you go in, it's like 30 machines in there, and they actually got the afterburner with the actual cockpit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Or they got the Daytona USA
with the bike
with the cars all lined up.
The cars lined up. Yeah.
The one with they had the bike, the Time Crisis with the actual Uzi. For the control, yeah. So, like,
I miss that pedal game.
Yeah, like we ain't talking about Dave and Buster's. We ain't talking about. Well, no, Dave and Buster's actually does that, depending on where you at.
I'm gonna say depends on which one you go to.
Yeah, they actually have a good arcade section, but I've been to a couple of Dave and Buster's where the arcade section was horrible. But I've been to there's one in Charlotte that when I'm in Charlotte, I go to, and they have a whole second floor, ain't nothing but an arcade. I'm like, yes, y'all knew the assignment. So, that's been my only issue with like online, and the fact that game developers, especially in the 7th and 8th gen, tried to just force online into everything. You're like, dude, this game doesn't even
stupid. Some games just didn't need
online. Yeah, like my favorite one, Ninja Gaiden 3. Why does this game have online? Why?
It don't need
it. For no reason.
The problem was that everybody said they wanted it, but they didn't actually use it. Like, if your game is based around a single player experience, you do not need an online component. You just don't.
You don't. You really don't. Okay, so we're almost about to hit an hour, and there's two more things I did. Well, at least one more thing I want to talk about, because we did get a Kirby trailer this week. Did you guys have a chance to see it?
No, I didn't get to see it.
I only saw part of it.
Okay, give me a second. Let me give me a second.
Let's roll that beautiful beam footage.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Let me get everything set up here. Hold on. So, yeah, Kirby had a copy abilities and co-op trailer that came out. So let's share screen here. System audio. Where is my? Oh, there it is.
Kirby either going to be the greatest thing that ever came out, or it's going to flop. It's one of them two. Well, I'm leaning toward the first one.
I'm thinking it's gonna be the first one as well. People love that little pink cheater in Smash. All right, so you guys ready?
Kirby's Odyssey, baby. Kirby's Odyssey.
Yeah, Kirby's Odyssey. I can see that. All right, here we go.
God damn, that was quick.
It didn't take too much time at all.
just walked up like you my snack.
Okay. So we're gonna get 2 players. Is that?
Damn. Why they kidnapping waddle bees?
Yeah, this was good. Hey, trophies.
Getting Sonic Lost World vibes off that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
Oh, that's dope. Oh,
wow, is Kirby busting? Kirby busting shots now.
Man, I'm about to clap everybody in here.
We're gonna have that power on standby just because.
Wow. March 25th? That's so soon.
Yep.
Yeah. March is gonna be a heavy.
Now everybody's like, so that March date that we was going with, we don't move that to April.
Look, can we push it 2 weeks?
Yeah. So outside of Kirby busting double Glocks,
no. He said, I need a power where I can come out and just bang it.
Yeah. So like, why he gotta get the horse rifle though? I mean, not the elephant rifle.
Like, what the world? But yeah, I actually like, dude, it was giving me like Sonic Lost World vibes mixed with Galaxy vibes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong in thinking that?
Oh no, that's how it looked.
Okay.
I'm kind of wondering that scene where he's riding on the star. You think that's a cutscene, or do you think you can actually freely move, or is that how you do selections?
I think that might be. I think that might be your stage introductions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it looked like you can do a little something, but like you have to land in a specific spot.
Yeah. Kind of like Odyssey.
Like
Odyssey a little bit.
I mean, because in every Kirby game I have played where he jumps in the warp star, you don't control it. It's going wherever the game wants it to go.
Right.
Would be nice if they do that though.
Yeah, that would be fun. Besides air ride?
Kirby's air ride.
Air ride, yeah.
Hey, maybe they will do some warp star stages.
I mean, that would be interesting to add. That'd be an interesting add-on if they did that. But yeah, they dropped that this past week, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to buy this, ain't I? I'm gonna have to buy this, ain't I? And there's a lot of stuff that's dropping. There's a lot of stuff that's dropping.
But like some of those moves, like that drill hat, that's kind of dope. Drill hat, that's dope.
It would have been funny if you would have said sure you can, but yeah, I get that. I get that. Capcom, eat your heart out. So that because like so I was planning on picking up Arceus. I've told people that I may not be able to pick up Arceus day one.
Okay. Because
there was a couple other games that I said I was gonna get if they ever did a release date for me. They did for Forbidden West. So I got to get Forbidden West. I'm gonna show Forbidden West the proper love it needs to be shown because the first game was actually really dope, and I overlooked it because I'm a Zelda head, and Zelda was coming out the next month, so that game got put on the back burner. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm actually looking forward to Forbidden West. So I'm like, it's coming out in February this year. I'm gonna actually get it. I can get Arceus at a later date because Pokemon is Pokemon to me. I already know what I got to do for that, so I can jump on that at any point in time. But now they put Kirby in March, and I thought I could have swore I was like, okay, so Kirby's gonna be springtime, so probably at the earliest, probably gonna be May. No, y'all said March 25th. God dang it, Nintendo. So
I'm a day one artist, so don't worry, I got you. I'll just play in your stead.
Yeah,
but yeah, March is early. I thought it was you know.
And they only just announced that game last summer.
Yeah, well, it was
it was like one of the last
directs. It was one of the last directs they did. But the thing
that was the same
they said spring. Yeah, they said spring.
Yeah,
right. Originally they said spring 2022, and I'm like, oh, hey, cool. This probably gonna be like May, May, June sometime.
No, they meant before. They meant early spring. They meant right after the frost thaws.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. Apparently y'all ain't playing about this.
It's crazy. We getting Nintendo's. They're doing something a little bit different now as of lately, because you notice like a lot of these games that either we don't know or we do know, but we've been waiting. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have this game and it's gonna drop sometime in this area, and then the next time you hear it is like, no, it's gonna drop like right here, and it's only like months away. You're like, wait a minute, what happened to development time? What?
I think. Well, I think the problem is like I think because of the pandemic, it threw everything off, and I'm thinking they had to put this release date out because I think Bayonetta's hitting probably this summer. I think Splatoon's hitting probably in June or July. I think Zelda is hitting November.
Yeah, that's their holiday.
I'm looking. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
And I think there's a couple other games that they haven't said anything about that's either gonna get a grand showing or is gonna straight up drop. This year. And I know people have been saying that 2022 is going to be like 2017. I actually believe that. I think it's going to be better than 2017. This is probably going to be better.
I think it's going to be way better. Yeah. Remember, like, yeah, we got a game. We got another game.
So,
and you got to think, they have not made out, unless you are solely counting Super Mario Maker 2. They haven't done a 2D Mario.
At least they haven't released it yet.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure they got one. There's no way they don't have one. There's no way they don't have one.
We still don't even have Xenoblade. Xenoblade has still not even been announced.
That's another thing that I think we're going to get announced. Because once again, why did Monolith hire all them people if they're not working on the mainline Xeno?
Yeah, they're ending off. When is their quarter or their quarterly?
Their quarter is March.
Yep.
So you literally getting Kirby right before
the end of the. So Kirby's going to be on.
Kirby is effectively going to be really Kirby's going to really effectively be the first game of their new fiscal year. It's just releasing right before the end of it.
Yeah. So I don't know how they, because one thing I don't know when it comes to business, like if it drops like in that month of the fiscal year, I don't know if they count toward the new one or keep it on the old sheet. I don't know how they do that. Because most times they just like if it's before March, it'll be on 2021's thing. It won't even count to 2022. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. They may do what they did with Breath of the Wild and the Switch release and just put it on the 2017 release. Because remember, it dropped. That dropped like the month of
day and date.
Yeah. So they just moved it on 2017 and pretended like it wasn't a 2016 thing, which they may do the same thing for Kirby. I don't know.
Either or,
it makes more sense with Kirby because that's literally at the end of the month.
Yeah, it looks good either way because either you're gonna sell a lot right then and there, and it's gonna look good on your sheet, like this is the last game that we had that sold, or it starts off and you got a good selling, and it's like this is the game that we started off our next year.
Hold on. Isn't Horizon Forbidden West supposed to be in March?
No, February.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like February. It's right before King of Fighters 15.
Oh no, I'm just looking. I'm sorry. This might be a repeat of the last situation.
Well, I don't know because like Kirby's a whole different beast than
Kirby's a whole different beast, but
Horizon
this is Kirby's first 3D adventure game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, because Horizon and Zelda was kind of like
they're still different. They're still different,
but they're still different. They're like the way they're
face value, they're the same.
Yeah, like I mean, as far as adventure games are concerned, they're kind of like similar in like how you attack the world and stuff like that. Kirby ain't like that, exactly, except this Kirby can actually bust glocks for some reason.
That's why they put that in there.
Yeah.
He's a mature Kirby. He's got his license.
Yeah. Kirby is up there. Is practicing his Second Amendment rights.
Hunting water buffalo.
But yeah. Also, we did get a confirmation that the Ezio collection is coming from Assassin's Creed.
Oh yes.
It is actually happening.
Here's one problem with that Ezio collection though that I've noticed. And they did an article about this. If you're gonna buy that game physical, you're not getting the whole thing. You're gonna have to download it anyway. So you might as well just get it digital because it's 35 gigs, but everything ain't on there. So I think like the 2 of the games are actually digital. One of them is on the disc.
So
or on
more than likely, Assassin's Creed 2 is the physical game.
I think that's
and then Revelations and the other one.
All the other stuff with all the because I think like they're putting all the DLC, everything. So it's not just so you getting everything on top of everything. So that's why it's once again, I keep telling people I understand why you want to go physical, but dude, most of the stuff is I don't see the point in buying some of these games when you know it ain't all on the physical media.
Right. I was just thinking like, dang, that's kind of a lot of space for even if that was a collection. But if you including all the DLC, then that makes more sense.
And it's like some other thing that they're including with it too, that I've never heard of before. So I'm guessing it's some kind of documentary thing or something that's being included on that too. So
I mean that's cool. I liked that was I won't say the prime. Well, it was the prime time of Assassin's Creed to me. But I feel like that's
man.
Yeah, it was a newer. It was still a newer series, you know.
Yeah,
And they were really working on like the whole Assassin's Creed engine and stuff like that. So the Ezio time, I think, was probably the most enjoyable time with Assassin's Creed. Do you think that translates over to now? Because I know, if I remember correctly, a lot of that fighting was kind of clunky.
I don't think it does unless they made some tweaks to it, which they probably have.
Yeah.
Nowadays you won't ever know if they made tweaks or not unless they actually tell you. But I think they probably will have made some tweaks, especially with these collection games. I've noticed it with Ninja Gaiden. They made a few like quality of life tweaks on a couple of them, a couple of games like the very first one. Because I'm like, this is not how I played on OG Xbox. So I do notice that. That's why I was so worried about them doing a Metroid Prime HD collection because I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to make some quality of life changes to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because the gamers nowadays are not finna.
Like that old one.
Yeah, gamers nowadays are not finna walk to everything like they had to do in 1 and 2. They're not gonna do that. So they will get angry if they have to do that. Yep. So you'd have to make some sort of quality of life change. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure they made some kind of changes. To be fair, that would be the smart thing to do with some of these, especially since now is how the game would have, how they said the game was going to be played is now how it can be played. Because if you remember, we got sold a bill of goods in that 7th and 8th gen about 1080 60 frames a second. So just like we get sold now with 4K. Yeah. It's like how we're getting it now sold with like 4K and people thinking you playing 4K 60 frames a second and you really playing 4K 30.
Sony, drop Heavenly Sword as a remaster.
They honestly should.
Just don't redo the movie. Please, God, don't redo that movie. Don't do that. That movie sucked. That movie was horrible. You want to know something though? As much as I like Heavenly Sword, I like their other one better. Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. I like that game better. I think they did a better job with the combat engine that was used in Heavenly Sword with that game.
Yeah.
But Heavenly Sword was fun.
Shoot, somebody need to talk to Platinum about getting Mad World over.
Somebody need to talk to Capcom about letting Platinum get Beautiful Joe back so we can actually get a doggone so we can actually get
the game finished.
Get the game finished and get a HD remake.
Right.
They had to do something because they let Sylvia be in Wonderful 101. Because Sylvia was in Wonderful 101. She's like one of the first people you find.
It'd be funny if that's where he if they just made a Wonderful 102. And
they should have
threw Beautiful Joe in there as the 102nd. Like
that would
wasn't he in the first game?
That would have been enough.
I don't know if he was in. I know Sylvia was in. Was in because she's like one of the first people you find in the first area.
I mean, it would be appropriate because you could see Wonder Red and Joe being like best friends.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I miss Beautiful Joe, man. That game series was so much fun. That game series was a lot of fun. That's one of those games I really do wish had kept going, but Capcom is Capcom. Yes, Trudell. Tatsunoko versus Capcom 2. I would be down for that. I would be down for Tatsunoko versus Capcom 2.
Look, Capcom got to get in talks with Tatsunoko and try to get that license again.
Yeah. Because me and Andre did a review of that game and of that whole entire anime of the animes that people didn't know about from Tatsunoko. Because like, there's a lot of animes in there that people would think are like, oh man, this is childish. You watch that best? No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Nah, but if they do another Tatsunoko versus Capcom, I want to see Cashern instead of Kashan in it. I want to see the more vicious version of that character.
You want to see Sins. You want to see Sins in there.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I will give. Like after that game dropped, Adult Swim did get that anime series. It was like I think was it the full season? I think it was the full season.
Yeah, it was the full one. It was the full thing.
It was the actual one with Sins in it. It wasn't the other one.
Yeah.
And I was
it was like, Sins.
I'm like, bro, y'all have no idea about Cash and Do.
No, because Sean Robot Hunter is more campy and lighthearted in comparison to Sins.
Yeah, Sins. Boy, the themes in that one.
Yeah, was technically the base story is almost the same in both of them. The big difference is Cashern is fully robot, whereas Kashan started off as a human and became a robot. Yeah. So it's like both of them started off of having the same war happen, but the difference is Kashan Luna is a human and Kashan was a human. And they're both fighting for the human side. Whereas Cashern and Luna and Cashern Sins were both robots and fighting for the robot side, and that led to a post-apocalypse happening. So,
if you can find that series, if you're a fan of anime, you can find that series. It's worth a watch.
Yeah, both of them are good, but Sins is definitely better.
Yeah, Sins is not for kids though. Sins, so if you can't watch that with the little ones. You can't watch that with the little.
You might get away with Kashan Robot Hunter for kids because that was an OVA series.
Yeah,
there was a 3 OVA.
That one wasn't bad. That one wasn't bad. It was more like your like your Bleach and your Naruto kind of stuff like that. Where it goes there, but it don't go there.
Yeah, it's really like Kashan is more like, okay, if we make a character comparison, Kashan is more like Mega Man and Cashern is more like X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas one is more mature and more violent, and the other is more lighthearted and campy, but it still has the fighting and combat in it.
Yeah. So but just remember, if you watch Cashern Sins, do not watch that with your kids.
Yeah, no. That's especially toward the end, especially towards the end of it.
That's some real trauma you're gonna have to. That's therapy. That's therapy sessions.
That's several therapy sessions.
Yeah. All right, people. That's gonna do it for this podcast. Thankful for everybody who showed up in the chat. We appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe if you love our stuff. Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
I'm being sick threw off my whole schedule, so I'm just trying to get my videos lined up and just release them. But right. if you are following my thing on Spotify, you will see my old Cross Zone episodes popping up, because for some reason you can upload them through Anchor, but they don't show up on Anchor. I don't know why, but they're pop up on Spotify. So
are they showing on Spotify though?
Oh yeah, the whole video is showing up on Spotify, so you can see it. And this the audio is on other stuff. It's just not on Anchor. I don't know what's up with that.
Okay, that's weird because I may need to go back and check mine then. I know mine is on the audio stuff is on podcast, Spotify, and Breaker, but I need to check the others. Sandstorm, anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah, we are continuing to have a video. If I can get my program right, we will have a video on Wednesday. Our streaming is usually on Saturday around noon. Daddy Woes made me go a little bit later this past week, so if you guys didn't watch that, check that out. But because we are going on a trip on Friday and part of Saturday, we will be having our live stream on Thursday. Thursday evening, we will have some special guests, and we will be talking about Arceus. So the floor is going to be open to everybody, and just we're just going to be doing that. Also, too, I put this out on Twitter that I had a Boba Fett beat going. Now I'm kind of, it's done. It's essentially done, but now I'm kind of wondering if I actually want to put it out on YouTube or just hold on to that. So we'll see.
It's one of them things you gotta work with and figure out.
Yeah. I don't know if Disney has ninjas like Nintendo has ninjas, but it don't matter because I wasn't trying to make money off of it anyway. It was just
I don't see why you would have a problem, because there are a lot of people who do like their own remixes and stuff. So because Samuel Kim music, he does them all the time. So he's like one of my favorites.
It may be on there. It may be that might be my Wednesday thing if it doesn't work out right. So
cool. All right, so I know I promised a week of indies, and I got like 3 or 4 episodes in, but I got my OLED on Thursday and got everything set up, and for some reason I had to re-download a lot of stuff, so it's just now finished today. That's how many games I got. So I'm going to do Ender Lilies tomorrow, and this week my live stream is going to be some fighting games that I love to play. So Ender Lilies tomorrow, and then I'll probably do a few fighting games on the gaming channel and Twitch this week sometime. So usually probably gonna be around 5 or 6 in the afternoon. So just to let you guys know, next Sunday we'll be here, same time, same channel. So
cracking jokes inappropriately.
Pretty much. Hopefully nothing crazy happens this week, or look,
nice... stop saying that. Stop saying it, because every time you say that, something crazy happens. Stop saying
something ends up happening.
Actually, you do have a point. So, we'll just leave it at that for this week. Thank you once again. Thank you guys for enjoying and watching the channel and supporting us. We really do appreciate it. Next Sunday starts our road to 100.
Yes.
So, gonna try to get some special guests coming through. So please once again show up, check out, leave comments, all the other good stuff. Don't forget to watch Fresh Take for Book of Boba Fett. Me and Vicky did another episode today. So it's Sundays at 10 a.m. for our Fresh Take TV reviews. So please check those out. And we'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.